Okay, guys, welcome. This is a great evening for this type of session. So welcome to another Founder Institute session. So tonight it's the pitch mastery, and with us we have Vladimir, Frank, and Sam. And before I start with the agenda and everything that we have planned for tonight, I would like to invite the three of them to introduce themselves and say something about their background, their expectations from you as startups from tonight's event. So, Vladimir, would you like to start?
Yeah, sure. Really excited to be here. So, long story short, for the last like 4 years, I've been helping startups with their fundraising materials as well as their branding. In the meantime, I've been also scouting for some VC funds, including Flashpoint, the VC, and also helping and mentoring in Founder Institute for about 2 years now. I'm really excited to see what you have in terms of your pitches. With some of you, I already had some office hours and would love to see what you did with your decks. And yeah, just looking forward, and hopefully we'll provide feedback that will help you create better decks.
Okay, thank you. Frank?
So, hello, I'm Frank. I'm from Germany. I'm serial founder turned angel investor, working today with VCs, also with lots of startups, doing acceleration programs, incubation programs. I'm wearing kind of every hat you can wear in a tech startup ecosystem. I'm well connected throughout the whole Europe and also the US, a little bit of Japan. I worked a lot until we had the problems in Ukraine and Russia with Eastern Europe, Belarus, Russia, Ukraine. So that changed a little bit. But we still have some countries left, like here in Serbia. So I'm very happy to give you all my experience from 45 years now in this tech start ecosystem. Also the Valley experience. I've seen about thousands of pitches, and so I hopefully can contribute something to yours to improve it and to make it successful. Thank you.
Thank you. Sam?
Yeah, hi, I'm Sam, originally from New York, spent a decade in the Israeli tech ecosystem, and recently I've been more involved locally in CEE. My main business is Design for Dex, where we help VCs such as FJ Labs, Box Group, Air Angels raise capital from LPs. Then as an extension of that, we also help some of their portfolio companies raise capital from investors too. In addition, I run also a fundraising advisory called Raise, where we're currently working with a local government. I can't share just yet, but helping develop some of what we've learned from the U.S. and Israeli ecosystems and bring it to the local ecosystem as well. And that's it. I'm excited to be here. I love watching founders pitch. I love learning about companies, and if we can help you make it just a little bit better, that would be awesome.
Okay, thank you so much. So now that you know our mentors a little bit closer, so agenda for today is to have a brief working group reports. Then we will jump to founder hot seats, mentor presentations. I expect questions for our mentors during this session. And afterwards, you will have the opportunity to pitch the specific business opportunity point in the breakout rooms to the selected mentor and get their feedback on that point. So, working group reports, let's start. Let's be quick with breakers.
Hi, hello everyone. We had our meeting last week. Everything is great. We worked on our pitches and our additional questions we had, and yes, some of us redefined our ideas a little bit. So I'm really excited about you hearing them.
Okay, great. Captains?
Hello, everyone. We're really connected, five of us, and we've gone through our hot seat pitches. Who had any advancements. We gone through that, and we discussed the one problem, the one customer problem we all have. So every one of us discussed his or her. We are all men, so his one customer problem for his company. So it was really great.
So, Slobodan, who from your group, who is the most excited about pitching tonight? Tell me one name.
I don't want to point fingers. Maybe Boris. I don't know.
Okay, Boris, it is. Okay, chameleons.
Philip wanted to try something.
Okay, Philip, come on. Are you
Uh,
representative of chameleons?
what should I do?
So not
Chameleons,
Boris,
yeah.
then Philip.
Which Philip? D. Philip D. Yes.
No, Philip G.
Okay.
G wanted to try something new. I don't know.
Philip
Oh,
G
yes,
or Philip D?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's about a hot seat pitch. Yeah, I thought it's something
Okay.
else.
Okay, so about chameleons, who is the leader?
Mia here. Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, Mia.
Nice. Well, our group, we discussed problems first of all, started from 3, then we went to 2 and to just one key problem for each of our solutions. And we were trying to re-explain, to hear pitches of our team members and then to try to pretend to interpret what they said. So to be sure that we clearly understand what we do. And yeah, we were discussing our homework and some challenges. We were talking about competition as well.
Okay, thank you. I will not ask you from your group who is ready because you are ready for tonight.
Because I'm the only one, as I see.
Yeah. So let's go to blasters.
Yeah, hi everyone. Yeah, we did a quick review of the one problem. I would say a lot of us kind of have had a clear idea what they want to focus on from the start. So a lot of our focus from last week was about some of the blockers that we are facing either in this journey so far or some aspect of the idea development with a special focus on kind of revenue models that we discussed in the previous week. So yeah, a lot of moving forward and sharing resources that are helpful to each other.
Oh, great to hear that. Also, Andrea, you are tonight. Yeah, on our hot seat. And we have alphas.
Yeah, hello. During the last meeting, we discussed about pricing models and different approach we would use. We presented to each other our thoughts and arguments for choosing the most preferable models and discussed the financial models too of our startups. And we also talk about our pitches, of course, and try to improve them. Yeah.
Okay, great. Now, when we finish with that, it's great to hear that you are all together moving forward because the working group are for that. So let us go to our next segment, which is Founders Hot Seat. So tonight, 7 founders will be selected and they will deliver 1-minute pitch to the mentors, and they will talk about big customer problem, innovative solution, strong business model, and why them. And from our mentors, they will receive exclusively only feedback, so no additional question, no Q&A for 1-minute pitches, only feedback on their delivery. In FI, we only give 1, 2, 4, or 5s as scores. There are no 3s. So 1 if the pitch was bad, or the business opportunity, mentor considers business opportunity as something that needs to pivot. 2 is if the pitch was unclear, might have potential but needs a lot of work. 4, that the pitch was good, that some calibration is necessary, but all in all, the mentor would be interested in advising more the founder. and 5 that the pitch was amazing and the mentor would be ready to invest now if there was an opportunity. So let's go to that. I will pause my share and I will tell you who I selected for tonight's pitches. The first one is Filip Jokic.
Hello.
So it's just
Okay.
wait for me to have my stopwatch.
Version
So
1000.
so our minds were aligned tonight, Philip. So I already selected you, even though you
I
already
know.
wanted to present. Yeah.
Yes.
Uh,
Of course.
okay. Yeah. So tell me when you want to start.
Okay. I am ready, so I will just start.
Let's go.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Philip, and I'm a founder of Via Ventura. Have you ever had a problem to entertain and educate your kids on vacation? Because 88% of parents feel this way. Kids get bored walking around listening to old stories about city history, so they attack you. On average, parents only get 17 minutes per day of free time while traveling with kids. So we made a mobile app for them. With digital tours, we make travel and learning interesting to today's youth. We keep them focused, we entertain them, we educate them. The app is free. We only take a small transaction fee on every digital tour you buy. Until now, 100 travelers have tested the first MVP. We have also partnered with a few travel agencies to offer these digital packages. I would love to hear your feedback and advice. Thank you.
Okay, you had 3 seconds more, but okay.
Okay.
Let us hear.
Great.
Sam, would you like to start with the feedback?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, I think you did an excellent job. I would give it a 4. I would say my biggest challenge here, I had two challenges with the pitch. The first one is that when you started with your hook, I was sure that you're going to be talking about a solution for helping your kids keep up with their schoolwork on vacation as opposed to educating them, during your travels. So that was for me, just there was a disconnect there. And it seems like maybe even a mismatch. The second thing is, and this is something that we experience a lot, is that when you're pitching, assuming it's going to be, VCs, are you sure that your audience has children? Are you sure that they can actually relate to the problem? So I think you did a good job, weaving in a stat or two, but I still think that there may be a disconnect, and it's something that we see often where people are pitching solutions for children to people who oftentimes do not have children. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Frank?
Yeah, sure. I would also rate 4. That was a good pitch. And I would also recommend, if you do a pitch like that, ask people if they know that situation. Try not to explain too much. Try to get people into your pitch. So just ask, do you have kids, or if they're grandparents, or even if they don't have kids, if they ever try for friends or whatever, just a situation they know, so they know the problem. And if you build that, it's more intense and it's easier to get. Overall, it was good, but there were many things for a short pitch that you could reduce. That was a bit too much around everything. Get more to the point. Maybe best way to do that is write it down, read it, and look what can you take out for the short pitch. So because it's hard to concentrate on everything, it's totally new for me. So I need to keep up with all you're telling, and that was a little bit too much, and maybe therefore a little bit too long, the 3 seconds. But overall, good idea, interesting idea, and well done. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, from my
Okay,
side,
Vladimir?
yeah, I would rate it a 4 as well. It was well paced. I like, you definitely seem like you prepared a lot for this pitch. What I missed is a bit more of a business side of the project. Again, you focused a lot on the value and explaining the value that you provide for your users. But again, like, maybe just some points about where you're at in terms of your go-to-market. What's your next step? What do you want me to do with all this information? I'm interested. What's the next step for me? You really want to close the next meeting or anything, or like show me, sending me your pitch deck, anything that will help me move forward with you as a project. So overall, great. But again, this balance between like business side and value side, it can be tuned a bit. Again, I agree with all the previous comments. You can try to shorten some stuff in the first section, then add some more valuable insight in the business side. So yeah, but overall, a really solid pitch. Yeah, for me.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Okay, great start for tonight. Andrea, you are next.
Yes, sure. Start.
Yes.
Out of 240,000 students who enter universities in Serbia every single year, only 40,000 graduates. Youth entering the workforce faces numerous challenges, including lack of information, irrelevant practices, or simply lack of continuous support, which is why only 1/3 of employable youth is actually working. Career Launch wants to change that with an online platform that connects young people ages 20 to 25 with HR specialists, career counselors, and domain experts who provide practical advice and strategic approach to career kickstart and first opportunities. Unlike other career centers who offer generic advice, we are focused on tailored solutions for each individual. We work directly with businesses not only to source candidates, but also provide strategic internship programs and people development options. We are the trio to make it happen with our background in marketing, tech, and counseling, which we have proved in the first month since the launch after conducting over 50 sessions.
Stop. Okay, let's go with Frank.
Mike.
Yeah, Frank, your mic is on mute. Frank, we can't hear you.
Sorry, yeah, I was muted. Yeah, I would rate it a 2 in this case because a whole part is missing as you put too much information in the beginning. Same as I said to Philip, but you need to concentrate this much more into much shorter things. This is like if we meet and you want to quickly tell me what you're doing about, it needs about 1 or 2 sentences about each topic. The best way is to do 1 sentence about what is the problem, what is the solution, what is your team, and what is your business model. It's possible to do each of that into 1 sentence, maybe 2, but not more than that. If you start explaining in sentences too many things, that's something you can do later on if you get me interested. So that's why you needed too much time and you didn't come to the end. So I think that the main advice is really try to reduce what you want to tell in your pitch. So the 1 minute will definitely be enough. And it would be much clearer where you want to head. So for me, at least half of the information is missing for this pitch.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Vladimir.
For me, it will be a 2 as well. The main concern here is that, yeah, I guess it's in the way you basically presented it. Like you try to fit all the data you had, which is a very good thing. I really love when founders leverage data, especially when they're talking about the problems and the solutions, and when the like basically founders can tie their value proposition to some KPIs and stuff. So in your case, you while trying to fit all this info in your pitch, you clearly just try to read it as fast as possible, and the way you read it sound a bit like almost robotic for me, and I had trouble following you just because it was so there was no like I would really love to hear a more authentic pitch when even not this detailed, but again, just it all comes from practice. But try to just say things you want to say them, and not just reading through the script you prepared. Because again, we're all humans, and if you want to tell me something, imagine that you're trying to tell this to your friend that's outside the industry, that doesn't know a thing about what you're doing, and just be a bit more natural with it, and it would really help. And then you will also it will make you cut down all the details that your friend wouldn't want to know right away. So again, just think of it in this way, and this might also help you reduce the amount of content you have in your pitch, and focus on all the exciting stuff you want to tell, not all the details right away. So this is, I guess, my take on this.
Okay, thank you, Sam.
Sure. Yeah, I would go with a 2 as well. So not to beat the dead horse too much, but basically, yeah, at the very beginning you started with stats, and using a stat is a very good way to kind of shock someone. The first number, 240,000, only 40,000 graduating, that definitely was very surprising to me. But then the solution seems to be focused on youth employment as opposed to youth and college graduation rate. So I think using one stat would help someone who may not be aware of the depth of the problem would be enough. But my bigger challenge was that I didn't understand what makes this either a unique solution, meaning we said that other ones are generic, or personalized, but those are, that itself is pretty generic. We want to be a little bit more clear about what makes you unique and what it is that you're doing different. And I'm sure there is something, but that would be the main thing I would want to hear before saying, hey, let's continue this conversation. This is not just a HR, service for youth who are struggling to find employment. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now let's go with Liang.
Oh, hi. Good evening. Have you noticed when you order delivery that the delivery fee is expensive? That's because the last mile delivery is the most expensive part of the transportation, and we want to change that. And as a logistics major, I remembered how sea container revolutionized the way the goods are transported around the world. And we are creating a 1.3 cubic meter container and using e-cargo bikes as a vehicle to help the city deliveries to be more affordable and more efficient. We are currently in the concept proven phase, and we are going to try to launch our first prototype in the next quarter. Thank you.
Okay, you had more time, but okay, let's see the feedback. Vladimir, would you like to start?
Yeah, sure. I think for this pitch, I would give you a 2. I know the context. I've seen your longer pitch, but if I imagine that I heard this pitch just first time, I would give it just on the grounds of, again, you sound very confident. You talk about the value. You tell me about your next stages, which I would advise not to tell me that you will try to launch a prototype in the next quarter. I would say that you will. It doesn't you really don't want to use these words like try, will, attempt, or anything. But overall, it just I didn't get anything business side from this pitch. Again, how will you monetize it? What's your business model? Where you're going with this? What the scale? So I understand the overall concept, but it was really not enough to get me excited. So this is why I would give it a 2. But I believe you have so many points to include here to make it better, and I would love to again maybe work on some office hours to help you again bring more exciting stuff to this pitch.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Sam?
Yeah, I would give it a 2 as well. I think there is, for someone who has zero familiarity with the problem, I mean, I'm familiar that there's delivery costs. I don't know what that means that they're high. I didn't understand the solution at all either. So for me, it was clear that there was, a formula to what you were discussing. So you're mentioning what the issue is, mentioning how you're trying to take a unique approach to it, mentioned where you are in the process and, what your background is that brought you to the solution. But I still didn't understand the problem well, and I didn't understand the solution at all, or any other ways that that problem is trying to be solved. So yeah, what I'm lacking is as an outsider, the ability to actually understand what it is that you're solving, what it is you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Frank.
So first I will start with the pitch itself. It was good. You good to understand. You were in a good speed. It was slow, very understandable. So a very good pitch from that side. But I would also rate it a 2 because it was not really clear what your solution is. I know several startups working in that space, and it was just too generic, too general. There are several points where you can have a solution within the whole chain of the thing. So I did not understand how you really want to change, where and what place of the process do you want to change what to solve the problem. And exactly following that, what is the business case after? So it has to do something with the container. You want to have them smaller. Maybe you can integrate them to the size of a big one. That's how I would guess, but you didn't say it. So in the short pitch, you need to be generic and in general, but still specific enough that I understand, that I get what is the specific unique thing you are doing. And that was unfortunately missing here. So, but I think you can hear from the information around that there's more. But yeah, try to improve that to really get it more to the point for a short pitch, and maybe something for all here pitching. A pitch is, especially the short pitch, is something like a hook. It's something where you want your opposite person to do a next meeting with you, to have a next call with you. So try to put everything together in a nutshell, that I understand it and I am curious and I want to talk about that deeper. And then you can provide all that additional information. Okay. That's enough.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mia?
Hello. Are you a recreational or professional athlete looking for a suitable sport partner? Or do you have a sport business and have problems targeting your customers? We offer you Taptivity. Taptivity is developing a sports social network to help athletes and sport businesses find their perfect match and organize sport activities by exploring and connecting with each other. Our business model is B2B2C, and it is based on premium subscriptions. Why me? I think that I bring my passion and my working experience, as I'm a recreational half marathon runner and economist. And after our beta testing, I'm currently looking for help with MVP launch and ways of attracting our first users to the app, as well as first investors. And this is the time to connect and play.
Okay, you had more time, but let's see. Frank, do you want to start?
I can start, yeah. That's a hard one because we don't have the 3. But it has a reason. If I have to decide at the moment, I would rate it a 2. Why? It was a good pitch, good understanding. You had almost everything in the pitch. The only problem I had was to really exactly understand what you're doing. What is that solution? I didn't get it exactly. I understood a lot of the rest when you dedicated to that, how in general it works. You talked a little bit about a business model, but it was unclear to me what is really happening. So who are your customers in the end? Even with saying it's B2C to C, B2B to C, I would have needed a little bit more explanation on that one. But the rest of the pitch was really good. But yeah, as the main part for me was missing, I would only rate it 2.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sam.
Yeah, I would give it a 4. The beginning of your pitch it was clear that you were qualifying who you're speaking to, which obviously is good if they fall into those categories. So if assuming you're speaking to, again, athletes or people who are looking for that, that's good. What was challenging for me is that when I'm listening to the pitch, I'm saying, okay, there is a problem, there is a solution being offered, but it was hard for me to understand what would make it compelling for me to want to continue discussing this with you. So I'm a marathon runner, I'm an economist, but there was nothing about any sort of market validation, nothing about any sort of team where, pre-product, pre-revenue, and there wasn't anything there that, would say, hey, this is the person I would want, or this is the solution I would want to consider investing in at this stage. But I think it was a good pitch.
Thank you, Sam.
Yeah, from my side, I will give it a 4. Again, pretty confident pitch. I love the story. So the thing I really wanted to hear but did not is how will you tackle the problem of any kind of matching app there is, which like the critical user mass, how will you bring the first users for businesses to be like incentivized to actually join you and get some value from this app? So again, this is very like just a classic issue of apps of this kind, if I understand the solution correctly. And I think we might have almost did the same solution back in Russia. But it's like the overall story is very exciting, but I have a lot of additional questions about how will you actually do the go-to-market and how you will actually make it work and how will you gain this competitive edge on all the other apps that are kind of there from all the like huge brands like Nike, but how will you provide more value and win them over in the end? So again, from one side, it provokes some questions that you can address later in the like pitch or any kind of different conversation. But yeah, this was like if you all touched on it, I think it would give me more again like clarity. So yeah, but overall great pitch for.
Okay, thank you. Sam, just to repeat, you gave her 2, yes?
4.
4. Okay, sorry. Yeah, that's why I wanted to.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, let's go. And Angela, as I recall, because we had recently office hours, so as I recall, you didn't pitch in previous 2 sessions, no?
No, I didn't.
So, okay, you are on then.
Thank you. So hello, everyone. So I'll start. Imagine this. You need to move quickly, but finding a reliable transporter is a frustrating process. Endless searches, uncertain pricing, and no guarantees of service quality. Small businesses and individuals face this problem daily, often wasting time and money trying to secure transport. At Movably, we simplify this with a digital marketplace that connects users with vetted, reliable transporters. For customers, feel like insurance for their move, ensuring they find the right transporter with full transparency and flexibility, whether they need solo or cost-sharing shipment. We also help transporters by optimizing their capacity, reducing empty runs, and giving them a steady flow of jobs through our subscription model. Our revenue model focuses on transporters who pay monthly or annually to access job offers that boost their business. With our platform, we already completed 10 transactions and secured a 25,000 grant to accelerate our growth. Movably ensures everyone moves easier, all in one place. Thank you.
Okay, you also had more time, but okay, let's start with Frank.
Okay, let me. So first of all, I start with the pitch again. Very good pitch. It was really good to follow a lot of emotion in the pitch. So on this side, really a hook. That was great. The rest of the pitch was good structured. I would have loved to get a little bit more or a bit more detail on the solution. I've seen many startups in that area that are trying to optimize movement. So it was not 100% clear to me what your USP is, what makes you unique in this space. But it was interesting enough from what you told around. So I would, in this case, give it a 4. Yeah, but with a little bit improvement to get it a bit more detailed. What exactly is your USP in that area? Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vladimir.
Yeah, it's a 4 for me as well. I love the pitch. I love your energy, and like to the point that I might want you to talk a bit slower. Again, you still have time, so you can space it out a bit. But overall, your pitch came across as like very confident and energetic, which is always great. The thing I missed in the end was any kind of ask. What do you want from me? I love the project. What's your next step, or what do you need help with, like funding or any kind of like partnerships? Like you really want to provide the very seamless way of me going to the next step with you, and also. When you were talking about your current traction, that transaction is great, but I would love to learn more about how many providers are there on the platform, how many users there are. I understand that at this stage, these numbers are not very sweet, but again, like the full transparency will be appreciated, and just focusing a bit on the product metrics, but overall, a great one. Thanks.
Thanks for the feedback.
Okay, Sam.
Yeah, I'm between a. I'm getting feedback. Is anyone else getting feedback, or is it just me? Okay, it's good now. I'm between a 4 and 5 as well. I would tip towards a 5 because again, it was a very well delivered pitch. It was clear that the problem you're solving. It was clear, what you're trying to do to offer the solution, which is basically offer a way to give trusted, vetted folks. But again, like the reason I wouldn't say it's a strong 5 is just because it wasn't 100% clear what you're actually doing in order to ensure that will happen. Is that a tech solution? Is there a certain formula or format you have for vetting these folks that will allow that? And that really was the question for me. And then of course, like Vladimir said, it is always good to have an ask at the end. Like, what are we asking for? What's the next step? It was a very good pitch.
Thank you so much. So I kept you interested. That's good. Thank
Okay,
you.
great feedback. Thank you, Anna.
Hello, everyone. My name is Anna, and I study electrical engineering. Besides science, I have several years of experience in educational system and different entrepreneurial programs. My experience led me to my startup called Idemo, a mobile app which aims to help young people in Serbia to stop missing opportunities by centralizing information regarding events and activities related to their personal and professional growth, such as cultural exchanges, workshops, and educational programs. And the best thing is they will be able to connect with other young people to seek advice. The study conducted by OMS organization shows that one of the reasons behind brain drain is actually lack of access to information for youth. Exactly because of that, the time is right for this business, because my team and I have a lot of input on how young people actually want to consume this kind of content. We are here to connect organizations and companies directly to their target audience with simple revenue model based on yearly and monthly packaging partners.
Okay. Ti si bila knap. Okay, let's start then with Sam.
Yeah, I would love to have a 3 here. So I'm not sure which way I'll go just yet. But ultimately, I think it was a well-delivered pitch, but I had a very difficult time understanding why some of those items were entered. Like you also can connect with other youth. So are we building? Is this about building the connections between other youth in an area? Is this the ability to give youth the ability to learn about opportunities? What's wrong with existing newsletters or groups or any of the other, Eventbrite or the 1,000 and other ways that people learn about events, whether they're cultural or professional. So I think what would be helpful would be if you explain what the limitations are of the current solutions and a little bit dial down on what is the problem we are trying to solve. What is the actual problem? Not just people don't have access to events, people don't know about events, but what is actually preventing them from understanding how to access those events? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, the score is 2 then, yes?
Why are you being, I thought we're being generous today. I said 3. I said, I'm not sure which way I'm going. We'll give it 4. We'll give it a 4.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, Frank?
Okay. Then I would rank it a 2 to get it somewhere in the middle. There was a little bit too much missing. First of all, let's go to the pitch. It was a good pitch. It was understandable. You had a good speed in talking about. What I was a bit missing in your pitch was the structure. You explained a lot about yourself, your background, before you really entered the pitch. It's better to start with the problem and to explain the problem. And as Sam already said, I didn't get exactly what is the problem in your pitch. You're talking about events, but yeah, aren't there other apps? Aren't there newspapers and other things? Why people are not using that? What is exactly the thing you want to solve? So I didn't get that one. Also, it was not totally clear to me, is it B2B or B2C? So who is paying? The kids using the kids or the people using the app, or the providers that are, or the event people that are on the app, are they paying something to be on your app? So the business model was not clear, and in the end, there was also again no ask. So what do you want from me? So these were a little bit too many things. That is why I would go from a 3 down to a 2. Otherwise, I would also go to the middle. It's interesting, but some fundamentals were missing. So try to structure the whole thing a bit clearer, from problem to solution, and then why are you the right person to solve this? Then it's easier to follow and easier to structure, and I think you can keep it a bit shorter there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Vladimir.
I will give it a 4. Actually, I think all the parts of your pitch made sense as a standalone, like pieces of content. But when I heard it all together, I didn't have any any interest or excitement. Maybe because I'm not in the market, in the area, because I understand the overall concept, how it will make life easier, maybe. But again, maybe it was the disconnect between the problem and solutions, as all the other mentors said. So maybe it's just again trying to nail the value point, because again, overall it would be great if all the youth had access to all the events. But yeah, I really did not get the point, what I'm really trying to solve here. And also any kind of closure in the end would be also great. I will not stop to ask for the ask in the end of your pitches. So yeah, but apart from that, overall pitch, your pace was great. The facts that you included, the data, it all made sense. But again, maybe it's just the point of storytelling and your narrative.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. And Jovana? Just wait a sec, Jovana, for me to, I just exited the stopwatch. Okay, you can start.
Every time I try to rent a car, I don't know if it's going to take 30 minutes or 2 hours. The process of booking, signing contracts, and payment takes forever. Our app is designed to automate the process of booking while giving wide spectrum of insights, giving agencies a complete business overview. So how is it different from Booking.com? They focus on large rental companies while we focus on the entire market. We let agencies handle their own bookings commission-free, only charging for bookings through our app. And finally, their interface is ugly. The European car rental market is valued at nearly 15 billion with 90,000 agencies across Europe. Our business model is primarily based on commission and a fixed fee, but we plan to include premium subscriptions and feature listings in the future. As a team of 4 software engineers, we've just started building our MVP. Since we are not from the industry, we have found a partner agency that's willing to help us build the right solution. We're currently looking for grants to support this phase. Thank you.
Okay, you also had few seconds more, for the pitch, but let us see. Vladimir, what do you think?
Yeah, I think the pitch was great. Again, maybe it's just because I get the problem a lot, and I understand how messy the whole industry of not like franchise huge rentals, but actually like rental agencies is here, even like in Belgrade. So I think that like I get the value. I love how you structure your business side. I'm looking forward to learning more. I'm tied between 4 and 5, but as like I think that I will give it a 4 just because I might be a bit biased from like a user and from the problem hitting me as your target audience. So again, like I would give it a 4, but it's very close to 5, and I'm like really interested. And I think it's the most important part. I would love to learn more in more detail about the project.
Thank you.
Great, Frank.
Okay, I would rate it a clear 4. That's a market I know really well. So first of all, again, the pitch. It was really a good pitch, very good to follow with emotions. So you're really good pitcher. That's great. A good structure in your pitch, also very nice. You had almost everything in there. Maybe I'm a bit biased because I know the market. I was in Expedia, and I also know the people from Booking.com, and I know from Ticketmaster some more of the whole thing. So for me, it was again a little bit missing. What would be your USP? So what differentiates you really from Booking.com, Expedia, or others? There are many out there, and they have different solutions. That was the point I did not 100% get. Maybe that is the thing you still have to work on with that agency. And that is something you should be careful. You shouldn't tell in your first pitch that you're not from the market and you're still learning about the market, because you need some outsiders to build it. If you pitch that to a professional investor, he's usually out, because he expects somebody in your team that knows the market. That is dangerous. So be careful with that one. And yeah, maybe a bit more exact on what is that USP you have for this special part of renting. So that wasn't 100% clear, but it was good enough to make me curious and to look for a follow-up. So that's why I rated a 4, a little bit more, and it could be a 5. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. So I agree. It's definitely a 4. For me, the pitch was clear. I appreciated that you mentioned that, hey, we're software engineers and we're not from the industry, but just like Frank said, if you were meeting an investor, that would be a very challenging statement. It's like, hey, we're going up against these tremendous players, these Expedias and Discover Cars and Skyscanners and 1,000,001 other services, and every time you book a flight, there's some new rental car offers. It's a very, very challenging market, and you need to. It's a very challenging marketplace. You need tremendous volume from a supplier side and from a customer side, and once you have that partner, assuming that there's a big enough name there, something exciting enough, I think it'll be a lot easier to pitch. And again, also what Frank said, the differentiator was not clear to me. The USP was not clear to me. There is something to be said about falling in love with the problem, right? That's a common refrain you'll hear, which is great. But you seem to have already decided a lot on your team. We already have, we have our team, we have our business model, we have a lot of pieces in place before we actually understand the industry, which to me, it's good that we're trying to plan, but it's good to be somewhat humble and say, hey, we actually, we need to figure this piece out before we pitch you. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, great. So thank you, mentors, for great feedback. Thank you, founders, for practicing. And now we will go to the next segment of tonight's session. So we will go to mentors' presentation. So, dear mentors, who would like to start?
I think I can start with a more general one. Just give me a second while I'm bringing up my PDF, and yeah, then we can go ahead. I have around 15 minutes, right, for the whole thing?
Yes.
Great. All right, should be all good. So again, thanks a lot for all your pitches. In this kind of short deck, I will focus on all the basic things you really need to know before even starting doing a full-on pitch deck. After you're perfected your 1 minute pitches, I will skip through the intro point because I already did that a while ago. But let's face the hard truth: venture landscape is not as good right now as it was a couple of years back. The deal size and deal volume is at a 5-year low, and now is really the time when you really want to stand out and make pitches that can actually help you as a fundraising tools. And the next step you usually take when you want to create a nice pitch is that you go on LinkedIn or to the internet and you search for nice pitch deck examples, and you get all the 15-year-old decks like Uber, like Airbnb, and Facebook, and they were great pitches at the time, but now the landscape has changed. All the frameworks don't work the way they used to, so you really want to know what investors are looking for right now. So what we basically did, half a year ago, we asked investors what they want to see in the decks and how do they feel about certain aspects and questions we had all the time from our clients. And we conducted a pretty huge research all around the world in different industries and geographies to again ask the people that make the investment decisions what they want to see from your side when you're fundraising. So let's first of all, let's define what a pitch deck is and what its values. So usually in the ideal scenario, you want to have two decks: the one that you pitch with and the one that basically supports you while you're on stage or in a Zoom call, and the other one that you will send through email or any other relevant channel. And these are quite different. The reading version is usually a bit more detailed, and the version for your speech is again just a supportive material that helps you viewers perceive what you say. And I really don't want you to take my word for the importance of the deck. Again, it can be a beautiful tool for you to really close investors, or at this point, any kind of partners or any external stakeholders you want to bring to your project. And the actual quality of the deck really helps investors make the right decisions. And by the right decisions, I don't mean giving you funding, but actually filtering you or referring you or saying no fast, which is also very important. So this can be a really nice tool in your fundraising portfolio. So usually you will need a deck before the meeting and after the meeting. And the materials that investors usually ask after are a bit different. They're more business focused, like financial models and some white papers if you are deep tech. But before the meeting, be ready to send the pitch and be ready to like provide in some cases a one pager. Of course, it depends on the basically the type of investor you're approaching, or if it's like an accelerator and they have their own standards. So be ready to adapt, of course. So the way that we can improve our pitch decks is divided into three main parts, because every pitch deck development process consists of creating your content and structure, then following up with designing all this, and then presenting like you did today, but with a deck. So content and structure is the backbone of your deck, and design is a way of, again, enhancing your narrative and translating this content through visuals. So content first, always, and then using design as a nice tool to enhance it. And today I will talk more about content and design part, not about presentation specifically, because this is a very subjective thing, and our research mostly focused on the first 2 points. So how we can improve content. Firstly, the thing that surprised us when we did the research is that, well, 2/3 of investors said that they like the story, like overall stories of the startups, but there is still this 1/3 that really can improve the way they structure things. So here is a very simple structure with 6 main sections that, again, was provided by investors. And this is a baseline structure that can be adapted to the industry and to the stage of the project. But usually the deck goes like, you start with the intro with title slide and executive summary, then to problem and solution, a very important section that you really want to like tie together. Your solutions should correspond to your problems. Then you go to market landscape, talking about the market, the sizing, the competition, what are the players on this market, and what's your positioning. Then followed by your project viability, so your business side, your business model, how what stage you're at right now, your proof of concept, which can be both some metrics or some initial feedback from your early users or testers. Again, you can include some financials. And then is your next step section, which is basically a bridge between the business side and the closing section. Because in your strategic roadmap, you can show your traction, what you've done, where you're at right now, and what are your next milestones. And then you can address it in the ask and talking about the team that also will bring this project forward as well. And finally, contacts, your closing slide, where you tell your investor that you really want to talk more about the project. You provide some links to Calendly or email, everything to make the next step as easy as possible for them. And there are 2 slides that, again, can be a bit controversial. For instance, executive summary can be in the beginning of the deck if you really want to give them investors a really nice way of filtering a startup, or in the end if you want to reiterate on some points that you touched upon in the deck. And finally, your team slide, if you think that your team is your strong differentiator, please put it up front. If you just want to show the faces behind project, you can put it closer to your strategic roadmap or the ask. It really depends on how you feel about your differentiators. And also another thing that is kind of controversial, we as humans love stories, and investors are no exception. If you feel like storytelling is your strong suit, you can incorporate some story elements in your pitch and it will elevate your overall narrative. But if not, sticking to the structure and being straight to the point will also work. So there is not too much preference to stories, but it definitely helps. Then some quick things that we wanted to answer with the research as well. So talking about advisors, being an advisor myself, I really don't advise you to include an additional advisory slide in your decks. Again, investors are like, they don't think that is crucial information, and you might as well save yourself some time and just show your team and your relevant expertise. This is way more important. Also, sources, please include sources for every data point you have in your deck, especially in the problem slide, in the market slide. It's very important. And finally, don't create these monstrosities of like 20, 30 slide decks, because again, your deck is not the only document you'll share. You have your data room with all the other additional information you can include, all the documents that you can share additionally. Your deck is a very concise document that is that needs to spark interest, and you don't really have to lay down all the details about your project. Then moving on to the design part, again, you are not necessarily design experts. You're great founders, you are tech geniuses, but you don't need to be professional designers. And these are just some key principles that will help you guide your team members that do this, or again, do this alone. And these are really easy to remember. The first one is don't use a lot of different fonts and font sizes, because again, it becomes messy and hard to read. Then don't use more than 3 colors on your slides, because again, your deck turns into a peacock and it's very hard to focus and it actually distracts from the content. So just use 1 or 2 highlights that you will use to direct the viewer's eye, and no more. And finally, please source some good imagery. There are tons of different stocks online, both free and paid, that can provide you with some beautiful images. And just like, don't use the distorted or low quality assets in your decks, because again, it's all about the professionalism and coming as prepared founded. So again, pitch deck design matters. I won't even talk about it in detail again. I will just show you some practical things, again, very quick ones that you can use to make your deck look more professional. There is something clearly wrong with this slide, and the thing is that it lacks any kind of alignment and any alignment to its content. And the easy way to fix your slides is basically to define your workspace. And by workspace, I mean the imaginary rectangle or the guides that will guide how you place your content on your slides. And this provides you with actually some easy rules to follow throughout your whole deck creation process. Then if we follow all these steps, we can come up with something like this. But this slide is kind of text heavy, and it might really benefit from some visual anchors that you can use to make the presentation and the viewing process easier. Again, putting on some icons, doing some subheadings that will state the main ideas of the paragraphs helps the viewer perceive your info, and again, ultimately helps you translate your ideas. Finally, you can use your both color and size or some different elements to highlight the main ideas on your slides. And this slide is okay, but it looks very bland. If you want me to focus on specific points, you really want to introduce some color, you want to introduce some elements and basically highlight all the important parts, all the data, all the statistics, all the big numbers, all the things you want me to focus. Like here, you want me to focus on the final number, 1 million. And this way you actually guide me through your content and help me. So to conclude, you might think that going through content design and presentation will be it for you as for preparing your deck, but usually it's really not the finish. There is no there is no such thing as perfect pitch deck. You really want to come as close as you can to having a deck that is working, and you can do it via iterating, collecting some feedback, then digesting all this feedback and aligning it with your vision. Be careful with feedback. Don't try to implement everything that you hear from mentors like myself, and really try to align it with what you feel will fit your project. And do it like 100 times, and then you will come close to having a tool that will help you fundraise. And finally, just 3 points I want you to take from this presentation. And again, these are the points that were given to us by our respondents. So if you are doing a market analysis, do it bottom up. Start with your unit economics, start with what you're charging, I don't know, per subscription, per unit, and then go up and calculate it this way, because industry reports can be not as precise, and investors love when founders do bottom up. Also, try to show traction, and by traction I don't mean numbers or revenue. Again, at some stages it's just not possible, so focus on any point that will prove that industry accepts your solution. So any kind of references or endorsements from industry players will help. Some words from your users, some early adopters will also help as well. And finally, explain everything in your pitch like you're talking to a 5-year-old. It's a very nice phrase, and this means that no one has to know your industry, and if people do not understand your solution, that's your problem. So be like as simple and as dumb as possible in your explanations, and this will ultimately help you basically engage any kind of audiences, investors that are into your industry, or like more general investors as well. So just practice pitching with your friends that are far from what you're doing, and it will help you dramatically to, again, be very simple in your explanation. So this is basically it. If you want to see the full report, please go through this QR. I will also drop a link after. And yeah, would love to meet you like later today in the rooms or through office hours. Always great talking to brilliant founders. So yeah, I hope that you will take some things from this presentations, and thanks a lot for listening.
Thank you so much, Vladimir. It would be great if you could also send me in PDF your presentation so we can put it on platform. Also, guys, if you have any questions for Vladimir, please put them in the chat so we will read them after other mentors deliver their presentation, and then all of your additional questions will be answered. Also, before I ask Frank to continue and deliver his presentation, I would like to announce one really important thing. Now, when we're talking about pitch decks, that next week it will be mentor idea review. So you need to prepare 3-minute pitches with pitch decks. So this is all the information that you will get tonight. It's really important for you to be prepared for next week. So as I said to all of you, and I will repeat again, 3-minute pitches with pitch decks for next week. With that, I will go to Frank. Frank, the floor is yours.
Vladimir, we need to stop sharing. I can start mine.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Can you see it now?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, I have two different ones, but I will skip the second one because we've seen a lot at Vladimir's PowerPoint at the moment. So I will look at this from a little bit other angle. One important thing what we heard before is for your ultimate success, you need other people to buy into your story. So the storytelling is very, very important. You need to make other people curious about what you're doing, and you need to give them a positive feeling. That is the mental hook you can set in somebody's head, so he wants to go on with you. So that is the most important thing. Coming to startup pitches. Startup pitches are used in many different ways. I'm sure you all heard of the elevator pitch, which is usually about 3 minutes, which is usually the time you go into an elevator, you meet somebody, you want to tell about your startup, So that's the time you have. And it's important to get everything on the point within these 3 minutes. Then you have the 1 minute pitch. You meet somebody just by chance, somewhere passing by, and you want to quickly pass over the main information. Therefore, you have the 1 minute pitch. But the 1 minute pitch is much more than that. It's the hardest art of doing a pitch. And the 1 minute pitch is the one that helps you most talking about your business. If you're able to put your pitch into 1 minute, and you can also say into 1 sentence, then you're able to do any other pitch afterwards. Then you can build on that one. It sounds easy, but it's really quite hard. And then we have the standard pitch as the last one, what you just did. And let me start with that 1 sentence or 1 minute pitch. And Founders Institute really has something very nice. I think you should have access to that one on the Founders Institute side. Here is how you can easily build that 1 sentence that is very helpful for that 1 minute. So it's my company, so you just tell the name of your company, is developing a defined offering or a product to solve a problem. So what is the problem? With the secret sauce. And the secret sauce is what I always asked for before, is that one thing that makes you unique. For sure, there's several companies working on the same problem, but there needs to be something that makes your company a unique one, that tackle it from a special side where I say, wow, I think that's the best way to solve the problem. So you need to be able to build that 1 sentence. And yeah, really try that and try to put it on paper. Don't try to just to do it in your mind. It's much better if you take just a blank sheet of paper and write it down. And you will have several versions of this in the end. And it will take some time until you find your unique version of your 1 minute or 1 sentence pitch. But it really helps you a lot. So I would really tell you all, do it, try it, and you will really see it sounds easier than it is, but it will be really helpful. So that was the 1 minute pitch. And then if you build on that one, there is a longer version, and that's what you can use for the elevator pitch. And here you have, again, my company has an offering or a product. And now you can add some more information for defined audience. You solve the problem again, your secret sauce again. Now you add the market. You also add a defined value. You can also add here, what are the competitors in the field? Then you also add, why are you different to those competitors? And what is the current state of your product? So what have you tried? Is it just something you've drawn, something you've already built, something you already used in the market? Maybe you tested it with some customers, or do you have first paying customers? So here you add where you are in that stage. And then you also put here the ask in the end. What do you want from me if you're telling all that to me? If it's an investor, it's about money. It could be also that it also works for your customers. So you can also explain to customer your company like that. But then your ask is a different one. We want to do a project with you. We want to cooperate with you. We want to sell you something. So try to work on that. That is the base for a pitch deck in the end, for the long version. If you can do that, if you master to do that, if you have the understanding for that, you will be able also to do a pitch deck later on, because a pitch deck visualizes all these things and adds some more information. So the standard pitch, and there are some things we said before. It's not about putting all the information you have into your pitch or your pitch deck. The art is to have a concentration of that. Be general. Really do it as for a 4 or 5 year old child, because you never know if your opponent understands the language of the industry. So try to do it on the one hand as easy as possible, but on the other hand, it needs to be specific enough to understand what is the special thing about your solution. So don't be too general, because then it could fit to 10 other startups doing something similar. Explain general, but specific. And that is the art of doing a pitch. To master these two things together. So if people are interested, and that's what you want them to be, they want to do a follow-up. And if they then need more information, give it to them in the meeting after, in that session. Don't try to put everything in the first part. Just the essentials in the first part, and make a story out of it. A story that makes somebody curious, that makes somebody want to have a next meeting with you. That is what a pitch is for. A 1-minute pitch, an elevator pitch, or a pitch deck. If you do a pitch on stage, or if you write a pitch for somebody to read it. The only thing you want to reach with a pitch is a follow-up meeting. That is the important thing. So pitch decks are very important to get to the point, but pitch decks are not the one thing an investor will decide if he wants to invest in your startup or not. So keep that in mind. It's a hook, it's something you want to have a meeting. And then if you go in a meeting well prepared and you can present your idea, your team, and everything you have, with backup slides and more things, if they ask for it, then it's a situation where the decision is made. If that is interesting enough to follow up and to invest maybe into a startup. It's not the pitch or the pitch deck itself. That is just the beginning. So let me see. Yeah, a few guidelines, but we've heard about that just before. 10 to 14 slides, that's about 7 to 10 minutes. It shouldn't be more than that. Label each site, which does not mean put the word problem or the word solution on top of the slide, but the description of the problem and the description of the solution should be the headline. Yeah, use larger fonts that it's easy to read. If you're on stage and people are looking on a screen, they should be able to read what is there and not too small, narrow things. Avoid, if possible, text. Try to visualize things. It makes it easier to understand and quicker to get, and really try to find good graphics. To do something like that is usually quite easy if you ask friends or others to have a look at what you did, if they understand it, if they get it. That is very helpful if you take an outsider to have a look on your slides, if they get it. And really use text only there where you really need it. Don't inflate things. You can make some things maybe a little bit shinier, but don't try to put much bigger things than there are. People will find out very quickly about that. And if they find out, it's a red flag. You will lose them. So never try to do that. Another thing is have variations for your target audience. As I said before, a pitch can be for your customers, it can be for investors, it can be sometimes if you're on stage on an event for other audience. So be aware who is your audience, and if you have your one pitch deck slide, have some variations depending on the audience you want to show the pitch to. Yeah, that is what we just saw before. Some of the major slides you need. So cover problem, solutions, product, service, business model, market opportunity, competition, growth strategy, very important, traction, if there, financials, team, and then you ask either funding or you want to collaborate with somebody. Then summary, executive summary, and maybe then appendix if you need some more explanation for something, especially if the pitch is to read. It's good to have some backup slides that explain some things a bit deeper. Yeah, I think that is enough for here. I would have some more things on either point, but we heard a lot from Vladimir here, so that would be double work then. So I think that one is the most important thing to know about pitching in general, without only looking at the pitch deck. And yeah, what I really want to ask you is try to do that one sentence, 1 minute pitch. It really, really helps a lot with many things. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Frank. I'm sorry, but for some reason we didn't see your presentation.
Oh, you didn't see it?
No, so if you can, it would be great if you can send me in PDF and I will just put it on the platform.
Okay, so I saw it here on my screen. What you see?
I don't know why, yeah, it wasn't shared. I thought that maybe you're delivering without, because sometimes mentors do that, but if you had, and I now understand that you had one, so can you please share it, send it to me, and I will.
Of course, I can share
Yeah.
it. I will also share the second one with the slides. It's just a no-name pitch deck that helps a little bit to build your own one with some hints and questions. And of course, you also get the other one. So sorry, I didn't recognize you didn't see.
No, thank you so much for the presentation itself, for the content, but it was really, really useful. And I think that the founders will follow easy, the content that you gave them once when they also see the presentation. So thank you so much. I didn't want to interrupt you because you were delivering, so I think that they understood all. So it would be like your presentation would just be like a good reminder for them, because as I said, next week they have mentor idea review. And before I ask Sam to give his, bits of wisdom regarding the matter, I just want again to mention about next week and their mentor idea review, that it's not optional, it's obligatory. Who doesn't show up will be dropped out automatically. Also focus on finishing all the deliverables, because if you do not complete all the assignments and if they are not validated, again, you will be dropped out automatically. So you will not be allowed to pitch next week. So focus this week on finishing everything and preparing your 3-minute pitch, your pitch deck. Use the presentations from our mentors today so you can perfect it. Practice with your peers in your working groups. Also use the office hours this week to practice and get the feedback from mentors before next week. So that would be that. And Sam, would you like to add something regarding the topic of the pitch mastery?
I'll go really, really quick here, because I did prepare a presentation, but we covered a lot already, so I don't want to keep too much with the frontal presentations. I just want to really share one important point, and that is that there's a lot of useful formulas and formats and pitch deck structures and pitch deck advice that's out there, and a lot of it really is helpful. But what is important is to not get too tied up into the existing structure. So it is good to follow them. It helps you, express something clearly. It can help you follow a storytelling, method or a storytelling structure that your investors can relate to and that has a rise and a fall and follows all sorts of industry best practices. But at the end of the day, when you look at your deck, you don't want to be tied to the exact, okay, Founders Institute says to do this, 500 says to do this. They're all good advice, but you also need to adjust it and adapt it to your pitch. So you start with the at the basic of it. It is good to follow the structure, but here there are certain things that don't actually fall strictly into any of the structure. So I literally, in the last 5 minutes, I pulled a few slides, mostly from presentations we built, a few that aren't, just to give some examples of like what that might look like and what might mean putting your personal touch on a deck. So this is a U.S. company. They help U.S. federal employees with their retirement plans. Okay, it's a really, really boring problem, and it's a really, really boring solution, but they do quite well and had a really nice raise. The problem is that anyone they're speaking to, like VCs, have usually not been federal employees and definitely have not retired. So it's very hard for them to actually explain the problem. So they have a problem slide, right? Just like what everyone else wants to have, right? People are confused and alone. Their tens of thousands are working for less than a minimum wage. They're leaving money on the table, on and on and on. But what they include here is a level setting slide. Sometimes I need to just create a little bit of information that can help you actually understand what the problem is if you haven't experienced it. So in a really, really simple slide, if someone works in the post office, they only have post office HR. Someone works in the TSA, right? Airport security, they only have theirs. They work in the FBI, they only have theirs. The HR has only access to the local resources. They don't have access to the broad resources. And once I can grasp that, I may not fully understand it because I haven't experienced it, but I can then understand what the problem really is. Okay, so that's an example of like what I call a level setting slide, which is sometimes your problem just won't be able to get across in one slide. And yes, you can cram more information on one slide, but sometimes it's helpful just to give that little bit of context. Okay. Another example of something that I would call like not something you see in standard information. So this is a JRNY. What they did here is a few things. So first of all, you'll notice obviously they put the highlight over theirs. They want to put the focus there. Instead of telling you what their advantage is, which is what I usually recommend, is they're saying we're so much better than the competition. We have a clear competitive edge, which is again not something I would usually recommend the founders to do. And then what they did here is they give examples of, hey, this may seem like a boring space, but we're actually letting you know it's an extremely hot space in the investment field. Companies are raising huge rounds at huge valuations, and they're creating that sort of FOMO. Like even if this is not a space I would ordinarily invest in, it's worth discussing with them further because this is a very hot and trending upward space. So that's another, I call these like a FOMO callouts, which a lot of times I'll use on competition slides, specifically if it's an industry that investors may not realize how hot it actually is. So like, yeah, if you're like, I don't know, an AI chatbot, you probably don't need to do that because there's like 4,000 of them and they've all raised. But if you're something a little bit more niche, that's an easy way to show that this is an interesting space. Okay. Another example, so like here, right, we've had people saying a team slide. So a standard team slide may look something like this. It may look something like this. But here's another example where we're trying to create, this is a solution for small pork farmers throughout the US. So they're letting you know right away, this person has the industry knowledge, this person's the operator. This is who our team is. Okay, and right away creating a personal feel with it. I changed some details across all the slides in the last few minutes. So I would have liked to redact more, but that's just an example. Like right away, why us? We have deep knowledge, we have operational excellence. And instead of giving you the traditional, this is where, he went to university, this was his position at the last two places, he pulls in the most relevant and interesting details that say, this is the person I want to speak to. And obviously I'm going to want to learn more about what ag manufacturing company did he work at, but I'm giving them enough to say, these are interesting people to speak to. Okay, here's another one. So this is a toothbrushing solution that raised a very, very large round that we worked with. And they included this slide. This is not a traction slide. This is not a product demo slide. It's not any of the slides that you're going to find in your traditional structures. What they're trying to do here is the why. If I zoom out and I'm saying toothbrushes, I've never seen someone get so excited about a toothbrush. So even if I don't understand what's so amazing about this, smart toothbrush solution, I see that kids are getting excited about it. I see that parents are getting excited about it. I see that dentists are getting excited about it. And what the why here is I don't actually need anyone to read any of the text on this slide. I just want them to have that impact of, wow, people are actually getting excited about something that you wouldn't ordinarily get excited about. So that's something you're not going to find. Here's another example. This is one of the VCs we work with, right? Notoriously, people have a lot of bad things to say about VCs. We crammed as much feedback as we could into one slide. We took 5 years of feedback, crammed in every single positive comment. And again, no one is reading this text. If maybe they'll read one line. But again, the goal here is to show we have tons of founders who love working with us, okay? This is obviously a deck they used to raise money from LPs, but it's the same idea. Our founders love working with us, which means we have the best deal flow, which means you want to, invest money into our fund so that we can invest it for you. And then here's maybe another example, like something that's like not standard, right? A gaming company, mobile gaming company. And then what they added here, just like everything else, obsessed with, they put in their favorite game, right? It shows a deep connection. It shows a deep connection to the space more than just, hey, I'm a really good UX designer. I'm a really good, content marketer. I'm a really good CTO. I also have a deep connection to this space. So sometimes it's, the little things that we're going to include that may not fit neatly into any of the advice that we get that actually have a real impact. And I think it's very important when we look through our deck, evaluate our slides. What are our strengths that we need to highlight? What are the points that are not clear enough that maybe we need to give a little bit more context? What can we do to help make sure our audience can look at the slide and immediately grasp what's going on here? So again, format like we like to use. Where we are, like Frank said, don't put the problem as your headline. The problem is a reference. Put it somewhere on your slide. If you want to let them know where they are, that's fine. The headline is telling the story. Student loans are the second largest source of debt in the US. And then I can give data to help you understand what the story is demonstrated, agitate the problem in this specific situation. And I think that's what's very, very critical. When we're building a slide, don't look to be as sophisticated as you can. Don't work to follow the advice you're given to a T. Focus on making sure your story is compelling. Obviously, that's an easy thing to say, but that it brings out your greatest strengths and helps cover for your perceived weaknesses in your deck itself. Okay, that's it. I mean, I realized right before this that I have a lot of examples of slides that I hate, and I've never actually compiled slides that I love. So I started just pulling them from different decks. And for me, this is actually a good reminder that I probably should compile those. This is one more that I'm going to leave you with. Again, something that I've never seen in traditional pitch deck information. A company, Haven Home Servicing, they raised, I don't recall the number. We did their Series A. And they're doing mortgage servicing, which is something that A, most people know very little about, and B, if you have to actually get someone's attention for 5 or 10 or 15 minutes about this problem, it's going to be quite hard because it's really, really boring. So what they did is they created a small core deck that covers very quickly why they have a great team, their traction, a few numbers and items that get you excited about to want to continue the conversation. And then they built an appendix that says, hey, is there any item you want to get deeper into? We're not just going to give you 20 more slides to show you we know everything. We're going to give you 10 more slides, and each slide is going to be answering a specific question, diving deeper into a specific item that maybe you say, hey, I want to understand more about how this works. I want to understand more about your vision. I want to understand how the network effect will work. I want to understand the legal side. So instead of them telling you, this is what you need to know, they're saying, we're giving you what you need to know. We're a really great team. We have great traction. We have a great product. You want to learn more about what we're doing? We have an appendix that guides you exactly to any item you want to learn more about. So to me, this is a very powerful tactic. Again, less relevant perhaps for your live presentations, although you could use it. You could say, when people are asking you questions, when you have a slide that already addresses it, it shows, I am aware of the objections, I am aware of the challenges, and I can bring them there. While at the same time, giving them the ability to show your breadth of knowledge about the topic. So I hope this is, the big takeaway. Look at your deck, evaluate each slide. What's the impact it should have? What are your biggest strengths? And that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Sam. Also, for you, if you have any presentation that you would like to share with me in PDF, you can send it to me. I will put them on the platform. But either way, I think those examples are great, and they can watch again the session and see it for themselves and take notes from it. Yeah, because I see no questions in the chat, we can continue to the next segment, which is delivering 1-minute pitches, but different type of pitches to the mentors and getting feedback. but what are the pitches and topic? Yes, yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry, just one note. My Founders Institute system isn't currently working. So if anyone does A, want to book in office hours, or B, would like to has a question or wants to run something quickly by me, you can definitely send me an email or send me a LinkedIn message. Whatever works is totally fine. I'm happy to help. I'm happy to even book a meeting. I just don't currently have the ability to open up office hours. So it's not personal.
Yeah, I hope that we will resolve it as soon as possible with our HQ to see with
Yeah.
ITs guys what's going on. Yeah. Regarding the pitch prep, it was elephant in the room practice. So each of you needed to prepare 2 slides deck. One slide was 1 minute, 1 sentence pitch, and the other one was elephants in the room, which means the issues that you came across in delivering your business opportunity and your ways of how are you going to overcome those issues or those challenges. So you have each one of you have 60 seconds to present to the selected mentor in your breakout room and to get approximately up to 3-minute feedback from that mentor. So I will open the breakout rooms. Oh, breakout rooms are open, yeah? Ned?
Yes, yes.
Because I do not see them here. Okay, you open them. Okay.